Welcome to the Clarksville Now candidate forums for the upcoming Montgomery County Republican primary. Today we're going to be talking to candidates for School Board District 6. They are Maribeth Knight, Chris Lanier, and Charlie Patterson. Thank you all for running for office. It's an important thing that you're doing for our community. And first, let's talk about, introduce yourself and talk about your qualifications for office. We'll start with Ms. Knight.
Hi, my name is Maribeth Knight. Again, I'm running for School Board District 6. I'm a mom. I'm a mother of 7 children. I'm a mom that's tired. I'm a mom that, I want better for our children, better for our teachers. We need someone to step up to be that voice for them. We need someone inside the school board who understands what our children go through, who understands what our teachers are going through, who wants to be transparent. And I'm totally ready to do it. I'm ready to be that voice. I'm ready to be that person that stands up and that makes our school system right again. Like I said, I have 7 children, 6 of them that are currently inside of the school system. 4 of them has IEPs ranging anywhere from speech to autism and anxiety. So I understand that process. Thank you.
Mr. Lanier?
I'm a father of 2 that are currently in CMCSS students in Rossview. I believe that we need a parent representation on the board. I grew up in CCMSS as in a household where my mother was a teacher first, and then she became a guidance counselor and retired after 40 years. My wife's an educator of 22 years, and she helped open Rossview Elementary. I attended CMCSS all the way from Barksdale to Norman Smith, Richview to Clarksville High. I have a BS in agriculture from APSU. I have a vested interest in carrying on the tradition and influencing the future decisions that will affect our children's educations. I believe in a high-quality education for current and future students. And I feel that, some things are coming down the pike that we need to have a good representation and people that are not afraid to make a decision and change that future.
Ms. Patterson?
Thank you. I'm Charlie Patterson, of course, running for School Board District 6. Born and raised here, lived here most of my life. Went to Smith, Greenwood, Clarksville High School, attended Oklahoma State University. 60 years ago, played basketball for Clarksville High School, and of course now I have a grandson playing at Clarksville High School, and that's a big hit for me. I enjoy watching him, reliving myself, I believe. But I feel like I am qualified. I've been 12 years, going on to be 12 years at the end of this term with the school system. And on the school board, I don't have to worry about hitting the ground running. I'm already on the ground running almost to the finish line. We've accomplished a lot, and I say we, it's our team. We work together as a group, not an individual. One individual cannot change. I think it has to be 7 people that does that, and I'm looking forward to serving as your school board member for the next 4 years. Thank you.
All right, so let's talk now about some issues that are coming up in the race. With Clarksville's growth, CMCSS has obviously struggled to keep up. What do you think is the best way to address overcrowding in our schools? Mrs. Dunn?
First of all, I think that we need to add this into our budget. I feel like that we should be working with our county commission to try to add this into the budget to be able to put additions onto the current schools that we have. 1, it's cheaper, and 2, it will kind of relieve the stress that's already on our schools, where our children don't have to continuously be rezoned. That has become a very stressful thing for parents, is having to constantly rezone. So with the schools just adding the additions, it will help tremendously. Also, I feel like that the new schools that are being built, we need to build them bigger. We need to, if we're looking at a school, for an example, that needs to house 100 or 1,200 students, then let's go ahead and make that 2,000 students, so we have that wiggle room to be able to, when our growth does continue to grow, we have that growth, that wiggle room to be able to add more students without overpopulating it. Thank you.
I think they're doing some of that right now. We've got a new elementary school coming on. They announced last night. Let's see. I think they're using it as the current design to save money, but I think schools need to start going up. When we have a growth problem, but we have also a land problem, obtaining the land is probably the biggest hurdle, and bringing some of these schools up to a second, third level, maybe having a level that's not being used. Look into a new, of course, all the schools are planned on subdivision plans and building permits. So you can't really do a build it as, build it and they will come scenario. But look at the percent to occupy of how much occupancy they have now, and looking at where some of those places need to go. I talked to Eric Kestner about the director of continual improvement, and he kind of pointed out those same things about how our direction needs to go to where the students are coming, where the neighborhoods are going. They used to buy land, and then they used to, hold on to those. Now we need to buy it where the neighborhoods are falling into. So,
All right, Mr. Patterson? And growth is always a problem. I know within the last 8 years, we've gone from 32,000 students to almost 40,000. And again, keeping up with that, having the money, and again, this particular board that we're working together, we're working great with the county commissioners. They've been helping us out with our money. And of course, we're there to protect the taxpayers, but Clarksville is growing. And as you can tell by the traffic and what have you, we have just put out a bid for the land, and the new elementary school is going to be called Patriot. Let me get this right, Patriot Valley Elementary. And land is so expensive everywhere, and this particular property is going right across from Fort Campbell, but you have a lot of young military there that have young children, unfortunately. And that's why we need the elementary now, and we try to stay ahead of the game. I think we've done an excellent job based on, again, saving the taxpayer money, being able to do that. Ideally, it would be great to have a great campus, which we just completed, my team and I, with the Kirkwood Elementary, Middle, and High School. It's great having all three of those schools on the same campus. And when you're an elementary school, elementary students, you move up, you're a Cobra all the way to high school. And it's great to have that. But again, land is expensive. And we have looked at the, and in the middle school at Kirkwood, we did do with the double floor, same as West Creek. But it's been proven as far as once you go up, it's a lot harder to maintain as far as the roof and other different systems. Ideally, if Clarksville just quit growing, then we'd be great. But we've got to stay ahead of the curve with the subdivisions being developed. That's not going to stop. So therefore, we got to do the best we can with the money we have. Thank you.
All right. And next issue. In recent years, we've seen shortages nationwide and locally in teachers and in bus drivers. What do you see as the best solution to those problems? I'm sorry.
First off, for the teacher issues, I have talked to over 20 teachers. I know there's way more than that in this county, but that's who I've talked to in the past month. And every single one of them all has to do with the same issue, and that is the communication and the backup, the support from the administration. Our teachers are not getting the support and the backup that they need. And I have discovered something that may help the teachers. There's a form online. It's called INS-F111. And what this does is a bullying form. And it's not only used from children to children, it's also used for children towards teachers. It's used from anybody as a whole. If administration, if a teacher is feeling like the administration is bullying them or harassing them, they can all fill out this form. It is pushed down from the state, so therefore they can, they're forced to have everything complete within 48 hours. This is very good. None of the teachers has ever heard of it. So again, this is a transparency thing. So I feel like teachers having these opportunities, that it will be able to help them where they can handle this. As far as bus drivers go, I've actually talked to the transportation. And again, a lot of the reason why the bus drivers are leaving is not only pay, but it's also they don't have the support. In order to get aides, I have statistics here. Sorry, I can't remember them in my head. So currently we have 244 bus routes. 55 of the bus routes are special needs, and special needs buses all have aides. Right now, we only have 40 aides. In order to make this successful, we'll have to hire 110 more aides. I feel like that with this, having aides on the bus is going to help safety for the bus drivers as well as for the students. It'll give the bus drivers more focus to be able to concentrate on the roads and not having to deal with what's going on behind them. Thank you.
Mr. Lanier?
I don't think the teachers are getting the support from the admin really across the district. My teachers, or my wife is a teacher of 22 years, and I hear it all the time about how that they will, and from other teachers, we have a lot of teacher friends that come over to the house, and when a student acts up and then the parent complains, then they come back to the teacher and they try to make some kind of adjustment. The thing is, there's a student code of conduct, and I believe that needs to really be looked at. I know some people don't agree with some of the things that are in there, but there is a time and it's now, the feedback time is now to speak up and say if some of those lines you don't like, then that's the time to say it. It goes on to the bus drivers. When I was a kid, bus drivers were different. Nowadays, they have different things that they have to abide by. It's a very rough thing. One of my father-in-law is an aide on the bus, so I hear about some of the crazy stuff. They have to break up fights and everything like that. So disciplinary process is a really big thing. And I know that discipline goes back to the schools when, from the school bus side. And so I think some of these kids really need to be reined in, and that the admin need to support them. And if that's whatever that needs to be, that something needs to happen.
All right. Mr. Patty?
Yeah, in Clarksville, as many of you well know, we have first in the nation with the Grow Your Own teachers, and it's really helped us tremendously. A lot of people are calling and copying what we've been doing. It's worked for us. Sure, it's not perfect. Sure, we're still short of teachers. I can remember, again, my wife retired 35 years from teaching. And back then, you almost had to know somebody to even get a job with a teacher, but it's entirely different now. And my daughter, she's also teaches at Rossview Elementary School. And sure, the whole world is not perfect, but CMCSS, with the leadership that we have, I feel like we did great. We're one of the outstanding school systems in the state of Tennessee, and I'm proud to be a member of that board. We were School Board of the Year in Tennessee in 2022, and that together, means something. But I'm proud with our leadership. I'm proud what they're doing, and sure, like I said, you're going to lose some, but it's not much better than what it is at CMCSS. As far as the buses, from last year to this year, we went from 54% last year to we're 76% now as far as having bus drivers. Again, it's not 100%, but we use the $1,000 referral fee. It's been working good for us. We also have a $1,000 bonus fee. Once you've been a bus driver for X number of months, you will receive that $1,000, not up front, unfortunately, but after you've committed to your driving months and everything. We've also hired a safety coordinator as far as training. And these bus drivers, they do have it tough, but they do an excellent job too. I'm proud of what they do, and I'm proud to be part of it.
Next issue, school boards are now responsible for approving and giving some oversight to charter schools in communities in Tennessee. How do you feel about charter schools and their implementation?
First of all, I'm 100% for parents' choice. I feel like that's our right as an American to have choice of where our kid goes to school. What I'm not okay about is it being on the back of taxpayers' dollars. I feel like that there is a lot of gray areas with charter schools and the voucher system. I feel like that we have a lot of work to do as far as making these areas more so it can't be abused. So again, back to statistics. In the state of Tennessee, it says 5% of the state's 116 charter schools have a success rate of only 20%, and 37 have a rate of 5% or less. So charter schools is at this point is not too successful. And I have examples of some that in the state of Tennessee where they have failed. Memphis Academy of Health Science was closed after 3 leaders was indicted for stealing $400,000 from our taxpayers, saying that it was going to go to the charter school, and it didn't. They used it for personal use. Gateway University Charter School shut down after it was accused of falsifying grades and giving credits for classes that they don't even provide. They also was using uncertified teachers to teach in these classes, and they was taking students out of the classrooms to clean the building. Little things like that, I feel like that we need to change, because that our kids need to learn. Our kids do not need to be in a system where they're just being used for taxpayers' dollars. So to solve this, I feel like that we need to work with the state, regulate things. If we can regulate food stamps and vouchers for education in daycare, then we should be able to regulate this as well. Thank you.
Sure.
I think the biggest thing to understand that charter schools are not private schools. I've never talked about charter schools as much as I have in the last couple of months, but if you did do a charter school, they can actually be brought under the school system's umbrella. And there are buildings in town that are not being used that were former colleges. They could be located geographically, they could be subject-based, and just because you have an IEP doesn't mean that it can't be a SPED school or it can't be a genius school. There's a lot of kids out there that don't truthfully care anything about sports, and they could go to those schools and just do STEM activities, and they could provide their own transportation, which we already have a bus shortage problem. So, I mean, I think charter schools should be explored. We have to understand that they're not public or they're not private schools, so they can still fall underneath the school system. They have their own governing body, but they still have to fall under the same scores and everything else and be tested the same way. They can pull their own waivers. They can pull their own waivers for days and curriculum, is what I understand. And then the other thing is in Raleigh-Durham, they have a year-round charter school. So kids go 3 weeks, then go a week. So you can have, when you don't have room for kids in the other schools that only go so many months a year, they just go the whole time. So that will relieve some of the stress of the other schools.
Mr. Patterson?
Let me be perfectly clear. I'm against charter schools. I would be. We've had 2 charter schools applications. They've both been turned down by the 7-member board. The big problem I have is accountability. There's no accountability. There's nothing like TCAP that all of our students have to take to pass to move to the next grade. The money, public money going to private money disturbs me very much. I'm not saying if a proper program was presented that I'd be glad to look at it, but the ones that I've seen so far are so far off the mark. As far as safety of the buildings, they want to bring their own building. Rutherford County, they accepted charter schools, and they're having big time problems. But the buildings that they were to take, sure, it would relieve some crowding from what we have, but as far as their safety, you've got to have the SROs in there, the additional expense. Yes, they do fall under the local school board as far as directions and rules that they should follow. It does. But again, if they're not doing it from the get-go, I don't see them improving. But it really concerns me moving public money, and it hasn't been done yet. Thank goodness it's going to be presented. We'll see what happens at our state government. But moving public funds to private funds doesn't give.
All right. Thank you for all of that. And now some closing comments. Ms. Knight, would you like to start?
Yeah, again, my name is Mary Beth Knight. I'm running for School Board District 6. I'm running in hopes of being transparent and being the voice of our teachers and our students and parents. I feel like that we need to work together as a team to get this taken care of. I feel like that our teachers and our parents and kids need a team, not just one person. Again, my name is Mary Beth Knight, and I'm running for School Board District 6. Thank you.
Again, I'm Chris Lanier. I'm running for School Board 6. I feel that our kids have a lot of disruptions in our classrooms, and I feel that it's time to work together as a team to push those kids forward. I feel like sometimes that the students in the middle, teachers on one side, and the parents on parents on one side and the educators on the other, kind of pulling back and forth. I think we need to push in the same direction. I mean, we have one goal and one goal only, is to educate, prepare our children for the outside world, and to be good and productive good and productive citizens.
We do have a big investment. We as taxpayers and educators, a large investment, and that investment is our students. That's our product, and it's our job to produce the best product that we possibly can to have this student go out into life and make a comfortable living, whichever, if he decides to go to college or to the workforce, that would be their decision. But we need assistance, and it's not perfect, but I feel comfortable that we're going the right way. And I am your president, board member of District 6, and I ask you for your vote where I could continue the work that we're doing. Thank you.
Thank you so much for taking part in this debate and for stepping up to be leaders in our community. It's not an easy thing, and it takes folks like you to keep this democracy going. And I encourage everybody to make sure you go out and vote. It's important to do that. And for more information on all of the races and the candidates involved, you can go to clarksvillenow.com. Thanks.